Welcome to Monday Night Chat, episode 45. We're shooting from my house. My house is just there because we are really running around the entire week. It's just so hectic. We are at the final stages of the Pakatan Harapan alternative budget. So we are on standby, translating layout word, compiling final data and feedback. On Tuesday night, I had to brief the members of the Presidential Council. That dragged on until midnight. It's just been crazy, yeah? So we're going to keep this quite short for this week.
Monday Night Chat with Wong Chen.
Brought to you by the Member of Parliament for Kelana Jaya in collaboration with Invo.
Policy Monday this week focuses again on the alternative budget. Now, last week we discussed economic policies, the monetary aspect, fiscal aspect, and also general economic policies. The week before that, we talked about revenue and expenditure of 2018. Now, this year, the budget is a bit more unique because we then project ahead, telling a story about 6 families in Malaysia to give and illustrate how policies can impact their lives. Okay? Now, it sounds a bit gimmicky, but we suspect that most of our readers will find it enjoyable to read a storyline, and that the economic policy issues and the fiscal policy issues can be quite dry. So what we decided is, let's try to illustrate the experiences of a family and how those policies, economic policies that we propose, impacted their life in a scenario where Pakatan Harapan wins the election in 2018, and after that proceed to rule Malaysia, govern Malaysia for the next 12 years. So what we have is a novel form of illustration to show what is Malaysia like under Pakatan Harapan rule in the year 2030. Now we selected and created 6 families. You can see pictures of these families. The first family we created was really the Kamal family, representing urban Malays. We then created Mr. Lim family, also representing the Chinese race. And then a Segaran family that represents the Indian race. And then we have a Jerry family to represent a Sarawakian. And also a Johnston family that represents the Sabahan. And then lastly, we go back to rural Malaysian. We put and develop the Kamaro family. Okay? Now, I don't want to give away a lot of these points, but just let me read one passage so that you get an idea what we're talking about, right? So I'll just read a passage from the Kamal family. Kamal Ahmad is 53 years old. His wife Fitri Mahmud is 49, and she was recently appointed as the new MACC chief. They have 2 daughters, Aniza, who is 28, and Alicia, who is 22. Kamal is the CEO of a pharmaceutical company that used to be a GLC. In the year 2025, the GLC underwent a management buyout process in which he became a shareholder manager of the company. Now, we write this story because Pakatan Harapan is pursuing a management buyout program of GLCs. Yeah? So we tell this story in this format so that you can understand how these policies play out. Let me read the part about the wife. The wife joins the MECC. Yeah? Her gender did not hinder her from a steady rise to the very top of MECC because the Pakatan Harapan government outlawed discrimination against women in the workforce in the year 2018. Yeah? And then there's a little snippet there that says, to find out more about Pakatan Harapan's women empowerment policy, see chapter 3.4.1.4. Yeah? That is the thing that we're introducing in the hope that our dear readers will at least attempt to read this document, which is about 70 pages long, and try to relate it to real experiences. Yeah? That's it for Policy Monday this week. Okay, Q&A this week as usual, 3 questions. The first question is, what is my take on why there was only 8,000 people that turned up for the Pakatan Harapan anti-Kleptocracy Rally? Is this a sign that the opposition has lost its powers or its ability to attract big rallies? My suspicion is that people are tired of politics generally, and that there are great economic concerns. So, the crowds have been diminishing, and this pattern has been going on for the last year or so. So I don't think it is a sign that we're going to lose power or we're not going to perform well in the next coming general election. It's just a sign of people's lethargic attitude towards Malaysian politics overall. Yeah, I still think that the numbers that invoke publishers on the support level are still very true and valid. So don't worry too much. But of course, it is a bit disappointing to have such a low turnout. Yeah, we will of course continue to engage and try to get a post-mortem on why this is really happening. But you know, if this encourages Najib to call an election quick, I don't think so. I still think the election is going to come in March. Okay. Now for second question, the question is, what holiday plans do I have? Okay, it is really the Deepawali break. I do have holiday plans this week. When you're watching this, it's actually Monday, so it's the previous week. The kids are on holiday, so I'm trying my best to take a day off, go to Ipoh, stay a night there, and come back on Friday. Generally, I think we're just going to go there and chill out a bit, introduce the kids to Ipoh. Apparently, Professor Jomo, who I had a conversation with recently, told me that Ipoh is now in the top 10 destination in the Lonely Planet. So I'm dying to find out what's so great about Ipoh, because all I remember about Ipoh is eating the hor fun. Okay, so we're looking forward to a trip to Ipoh. Now the last question that people ask is, how do we do the budget process? What happened was we started writing the budget sometime in early September. Yeah. So normally the process is, we've been thinking about policies for a long time. As if you're a constant follower of my Facebook posting, that you know that we think about policy all the time, right? So all these policies have been building up, and when it comes to the budget every year, we'll start writing the policy in September. The process is quite simple. I usually sit down and write down some notes, but luckily this year we got Sean, who came back as an intern. And what I have to do is just talk, and Sean will start to type it all down, and he's very good at it. And then of course he gives his inputs and orders, and then we do consult our leaders, and we do consult our partners from Pakatan Harapan. In particular, we work very closely with Dr. Ong Kian Meng, and Dr. Zul, and also Rais Hussein from Bersatu. So the process of writing is done primarily by my office. We get all the inputs in, and after 3 weeks of writing, we then send out the advanced copy to all the leaders to then give their feedback. So we actually allocated 2 weeks for the feedback to come back to us. And then we go into the last week where translation work, layout work, and any final edits requested by any leaders, we have to put those input in. And then we go into publishing, and printing may take 1 or 2 days. And then we are on target to meet the 25th October as the deadline where we launch the Pakatan Harapan Alternative Budget 2018. That's it for Q&A this week.
Got my ticket for the long way round. Some bottle whiskey for the way. And I sure would like some sweet company. And I'm leaving tomorrow, what do you say? When I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my hair, gonna miss me everywhere. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Got my ticket for the long way round. 2 bottle whiskey for the way. And I sure would like some sweet company. And I'm leaving tomorrow, what do you say?